Hello.
There we go. Hello.
Oh, hey everyone. Welcome back to the AstoundCast, episode number 36. Apologies about the slightly delayed start. I tried using some new wireless headphones that I've got. Apparently, it's going to take a little bit more setup than I thought, so hopefully next week I'll be able to use them, in theory. Right, just gotta plug them back in to make sure they charge, and we can get going.
You are very much lagging for me because it sounds like you're at 1.5
Yeah,
speed when you're speaking.
I'm putting that down to the storm.
Makes two of us. Although my Wi-Fi isn't that bad over here. If nothing's actually affected it.
Oh, well, that's lucky. Right. Title, yes.
Title.
Yeah.
Just call it title.
And apologies in advance if the stream does cut out. You know what? Screw it. That's what I shall do. The storm is appearing to have one last hurrah before it disappears. So this might cut off, might not. Let's see how it goes.
See how long we can deal with you talking at 1.5 speed on my side.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Let's get this over with, because, like, I'll be honest, tonight, I don't have a crazy amount to talk about, really.
That makes two of us, don't worry. No.
Right, yo then.
No.
So, to start, as I always do. I'm here. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one, guys.
This is gonna be great.
Bear with us. This storm's really playing havoc with stuff. So, how's your week been?
A lot more stressful than I would have liked, but honestly, not too bad. How about yours?
Okay, that's unfortunate. It's been a bit stressful, but at least it hasn't been too unbearable.
Hmm.
Anything you've been up to in particular?
Just trying to get through bits of uni work. My website should be set up starting this week.
Oh,
So it's just
fantastic.
making sure that I get that sorted and my stuff posted. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Brilliant. And as for my week, it's been fairly uneventful, really. Not much has happened.
I mean, better than
Except,
having everything all at once.
true. Except for copious amounts of sleep.
Sleep's good.
Like yesterday and today, I woke up at midday, both times. I'm not gonna lie, feels pretty good. Yeah, so, yeah, my week hasn't really been anything in particular spectacular, it's just been happening.
I mean, not the worst case scenario then.
That is true. So, shall we move on to a fairly quick motorsports section?
Go for it.
Right. For starters, Formula One. We've had some humongous news this last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean huge. Well, to start off with, we have had 4 more 2022 car reveals. Namely, the AlphaTauri on Monday, which, much like Red Bull, was kind of a rinse and repeat of last year, but with actually a couple of fairly decent changes. Not one of my favourite cars. It is going to take a while for me to warm up to it, but it isn't the worst looking on the grid. So I can at least say that.
Always good.
Then on Tuesday, we had the Williams FW44 released, which looked absolutely stunning. Dark blue all across the car with little stripes of light blue and red thrown in the middle, and oh my god, it looked so good.
Nice.
The only thing that did cause a bit of controversy surrounding it was the fact that for the first time since his passing with the team, the Williams car will not display an Ayrton Senna sticker on the front wing.
Yeah.
But Williams have decided they renovated their museum and have now put a humongous permanent exhibit for Ayrton Senna in there instead.
Nice.
So thank God they haven't completely stopped paying tribute to him altogether. And they are still working very closely with the Senna Foundation to help fund it, which is really good. Anyway, the last two cars we had this week were the Ferrari F175 on Thursday, which looks absolutely amazing. Very much giving me some mid-90s Ferrari vibes with the black all across the bottom, the front wing, a little bit on the rear wing, but not that much, and all across the floor. So that looked amazing. And oh, good heavens, my light just flickered. Let's see how this goes.
Oh dear.
Right, moving on from that, we had lastly on Friday the Mercedes W13, and oh my god, it looked gorgeous.
Nice.
It has returned to the silver that we have so missed for the last 2 years. Granted, the black had a very important message behind it, but all the same, I am incredibly glad to see the silver back, because that's what Mercedes are known as, the Silver Arrows. And silver is the racing colour of Germany, which of course is where the team comes from. So very happy to see the silver back. There is little tiny hints of black across the car, but not that much. It's certainly the least amount of black we've seen on the cars for a very long time. I think roughly since the days of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. So it's a lot less black than we were expecting, but also there's still enough on there to really give it some continuity with the cars before the 2020 cars started coming with the black all over them. But yeah, that's it for the car reveals in F1 this week. However, the FIA have finally finished their investigation into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and have brought out some huge new changes to the regulations as a result of that investigation. So they haven't let themselves get away with that little nightmare, which good. Like, if they'd have let themselves get away with that, I think F1 would have lost a lot of fans. And the biggest change of the lot is the removal of Michael Massey as race director.
Oh, right.
Yep. So he is now out of the race director role, and it will be shared by two other gentlemen who have a plenty of race directing experience throughout their lives. One of which is Niels Wittich, who I believe was the DTM and the German touring cars race director for the last few years. And oh, good heaven, oh goodness, what's the other man's name? Well, their deputy is a man named Herbie Blash, who has been in F1 before. And in fact, before Michael Massey came in, he was Charlie Whiting's, the old race director's right-hand man. So give me a moment, I'll find the other new race director's name, because I know he was the old World Endurance Championship race director for like 20 years. So he's got quite a lot of experience under him.
Yeah.
Well, I just got to find this other bloke now. Give me a second. He shouldn't be too far away from here. Okay. Jeez. When in doubt, Google it out.
If in doubt, Google out. Just be careful in case the internet goes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We have a bit of a... yes. Eduardo Freitas, who... Oh, yeah. Former World Endurance Championship race director for 20 years, and Niels Wittich, the former DTM German Touring Car Championship race director. So a lot of experience in that role.
Nice.
And to give a bit more consistency this year, thank God, the FIA is now making a virtual stewards room, so we can have the same set of stewards for every single race.
Oh, damn.
Because up to now, for some reason, every single race, the stewards change every time, which leads to a lot of inconsistent ruling decisions. Yeah, whereas now with the new system, it'll be the same set of stewards coming in remotely, and we'll be able to get fairly consistent. Well, we'll be able to get probably a lot more consistency in decisions. So thank God for that. So that's a big relief.
Always good.
I honestly don't have much left to talk about from the F1 world. Like, that is it. The only other motorsports thing is the return of NASCAR tonight, as I know I talked about earlier on, but just to remind you all, the Daytona 500 is on later tonight. I'm not sure what time it is here in the UK, nor in America for that matter, but I know it is on later tonight, so if you're planning to watch it, I'd keep your eyes out, because I can't quite remember when it is. Yeah, so that's it. That's the end of the motorsports section for this week. We have coming up in the next week the last two Formula One cars to be revealed, namely the brand new Alpine and the new Alfa Romeo, plus the return of IndyCar next Sunday, which gives us 2 out of 3 motorsports returning, with Formula One the last to go, with still a month to wait for that. But thankfully, we also had the announcement this last week of the release date for Season 4 of Drive to Survive on Netflix, which will be the 11th of March, and I would recommend giving that a watch, because it is pretty good, and it's gotten a lot of new fans into the sport this year, so in the last few years. So if you want to see why, go give it a watch, because it is actually really good.
Good to know, good to
know. Yeah, so that's kind of it for everything that I need to talk about this week, because, well, obviously Book of Boba Fett is now done. There's nothing else really going on Disney Plus at the moment until the 30th of March with Moon Knight. So, oh, but there is something I do want to bring up.
Oh?
Because last night, this is actually from my mum. Like, my mum had this idea. Right, have you heard of the Beatles-based film Yesterday?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Right, would you like to know? Right, this is how the theory goes. Okay, spoilers for the film, by the way. Just wanted to let you know that now.
Yeah, no worries.
Because it is pretty interesting. Right, here's what happens in the film. You have this man, Jack Malek. He's a musician who is trying very hard to hit it big, but it is absolutely not working out for him. He managed to get into a festival as his last gig. I think it's called Latitude Festival, which is apparently quite a big one. I've never personally heard of it until this film, but apparently it's quite popular. But then just after he finished his gig at Latitude Festival, there was a slight problem. Do you remember Y2K? Y2K, the 2000 virus that would wipe out all computers in the world.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, basically, in this film, that happens just 18 years late. There is a worldwide power cut. It just all goes off for literally 12 seconds. And it even translates in the film, like, the power cut takes up 12 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice touch. And unfortunately for poor old Jack, just as this power cut happens, as he's riding on his bicycle through Suffolk, a bus kind of hits him and knocks him off of his bike.
Oh.
Yeah, he gets wellied by this bus big time. He is yeeted into the next dimension. Yeah, it's not a fun time for him. But when he wakes up after getting knocked clean out by this bus, he wakes up and notices a few problems with the timeline.
Oh, is this the one where nobody remembers all the Beatles songs?
Yep. No, well, no, it's not that nobody remembers. The Beatles didn't exist.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. I ended up watching this with my mum. It's actually hilarious.
Oh, it's such a good film. But so nobody remembers the Beatles. In fact, the Beatles didn't exist. And we have obviously a lot of evidence to support this, that literally only 3 people on the planet remember the Beatles. One of them being Jack Malik. And being the musician he is, he decides to take it upon himself to bring the Beatles' music back to the world. But he takes it up as his own because, well, nobody knows who the Beatles are. So basically, because he wants to try and make it big, and he knows these songs can do well. So that's what he tries to do. But here's how my mum's theory goes. Throughout the film, we see a few very strange details. For example, I can't remember the exact scene, but there is one scene where Jack's saying to himself to wake up. And basically, the theory goes that when Jack was knocked out by that bus, he was put into a coma.
Right.
And the events after that is like a dream in his coma.
That makes sense.
So everything we see throughout the film after his getting knocked by the bus and him at the end marrying Ellie is all a dream. It's all him in a coma, basically fighting for his life.
Yeah.
And we see several pieces of evidence. For example, John Lennon is alive.
Yeah.
Which we, of course, know in the real world is absolutely not the case.
No.
Unfortunately. Very tragically. But we see that John Lennon is very much alive. And, of course, he's trying to wake up throughout the film. Like, because we can see him having a nightmare at some point in the film where he discovers that the Beatles still do exist. And, yeah, you know what I mean there. And I think that was a bit of him slightly coming back to reality, but not really doing it. But by the end of the film, when I think after the Ed Sheeran show that he took part in at the very end in Wembley, I think that is when he woke up.
Maybe.
Now, my reasoning for this was at the end, you see Jack get married, and you see him back in school, which is what he was going to do moments before. It was his plan, moments before he got knocked by that bus.
Yeah.
And at the end, when the credits play, we hear "Hey Jude," but it wasn't his version. It was actually the original by the Beatles.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, which to me screams that he's back in the real world and the Beatles do definitely still exist.
Okay, that's a very
Yeah.
interesting theory that's been brought up there.
Yeah, thanks to my mum for helping me with it a lot. 'Cause, like, she mentioned a few things and I was able to piece a few other things together. But yeah, like, my main piece of evidence for the coma is the fact that, and him waking up from it, is when Paul McCartney, well, the Beatles version of Hey Jude plays at the end instead of Jack's, because we do actually hear him make a version of Hey Jude, and we do hear it in the film. I think while he's recording it, and briefly during the show in Wembley at the end, but it's Paul McCartney. So I don't know. Just something for people to ponder and think about.
Thought-provoking, definitely.
Oh God, yeah. But yeah, like, although me and my mum can't quite agree on if he's in a coma or straight up dead.
I'm gonna go with the less morbid one and go he's in a coma rather than being left dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the way my mum ended up taking it was the fact that he's in purgatory.
Yeah.
Because again, John Lennon is kind of the linchpin for that, but there's also two other characters as well throughout the film that we only see. We see one of them just in a coma, well, after he got knocked out by the bus, but one that we don't see until after the bus. There are two characters, Rocky, his roadie, and Deborah, his manager in the US. Now, my mum theorizes that that Deborah is the devil, trying to pull him into hell with all the promises of money, fame, glory. And Rocky, or rather the angel, is acting as the person who's trying to keep Jack, who he is, trying to keep him noble and pure and bring him to heaven. But the theory ends the same way. He somehow comes back to life, and then we see the end of the film carry on as it should.
I see.
So that is an alternate take on the theory. So yeah,
the theories are pretty interesting.
That's just a mini.
Yeah, the theories are just like really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch it a couple more times to really solidify it, because I have watched it a few times already. But now that I have this theory in mind, next time I watch it, I'm probably going to be looking out for some more clues.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, that's my mini theory on the film Yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, definitely would recommend it. It is damn good. Well, yeah, that's all. Well, what was I saying? Yes. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight?
Not really, apart from how laggy it is now for you.
Yeah, you're not doing much better, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the wind's going.
Yeah. Okay, one last quick question before we probably wrap up, because this stream is very turbulent, let's say.
Yeah.
How has the storm been treating you down in Brighton?
Okay, there's been quite a lot of like all the pebble, because it's a pebble beach rather than a sandy beach, so a lot of that has ended up like going. It's very funny how many pebbles are on like the other side of the thing now.
Oh God. Oof.
Yeah.
That's bad. I am very thankful to say, though, that Wrexham has had it comparatively better to the rest of the UK. The winds have been absolutely bonkers up here, but we haven't had any major damage, as far as I'm aware.
We've had quite a bit of damage down here.
I can imagine, because you're literally right on the seafront, so...
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had damage, but everywhere else has.
No. I mean, one of the worst stories I've heard was the London O2 Arena having its roof ripped clean off.
Wow, okay.
Like, the roof is apparently gone on that.
Jeez.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. But yeah, hopefully the storm does subside over the course of the next week, because I believe the weather up here is still fairly bad tomorrow, but significantly better than it has been. Oh, he says that as we have snow forecast for 8 o'clock tonight. Huh. That is... unusual.
You could have so much of that.
What was that, sorry? I was just about to say, would you like to maybe wrap this up?
Yeah, I think this will be best.
Yeah. Also, just one last thing before I go. I just want to say, I really wish the Queen a very speedy recovery from the coronavirus.
Same.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this Storm Eunice disturbed episode of the AstoundCast. So, as always, don't forget to follow me on here on stereo if you're watching on here, or if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'll be just below the title of the video. Once you know that too, don't forget to follow me on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They'll be in the link tree in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. Once you know that too, don't forget to subscribe to Roxanne's YouTube, Eunice, and follow her on stereo, Roxo. And don't forget to follow her on a blog, soon to be her website as instead. Just wanted to remind you all of that. And don't forget to follow Frost on his Instagram. And that'll do it for this episode of the AstoundCast, unless
the fact of the day is just please stay safe, because there is a likelihood of things flying at your head.
Solidly agree with that. And that'll do it for this episode of the AstoundCast. And I shall see you all next week with another stream, and tomorrow with another video. Goodbye.
Bye.